Bee-doo-boo-boo. Okay, another tough day at my main job. You don't even want to know. So I'm gonna dive straight in. I have to... Diving jokes. I promise you, I will not stop making them. So we've been at this for quite a while, right? So let's get this out of the way. Actually, let's dive straight in. True, we should have a dive counter. We should have a counter that goes ding, 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 dive jokes, right? So, not a lot of time today. So we're gonna not say it. So, we started 2 months ago, right? And we did this as kind of a side project, and it was like 2 days a week, and then a break, and then 2 days a week, and then a break, and then we did a bit of a push the last week, right? And technically, this experiment was aimed for October 31st, and I'm gonna stick with that. So, but with one exception, I don't have time tomorrow, and I don't have time on Thursday because I'm traveling. So I'm gonna take these 2 days. I'm gonna use them next week for catching up Unity. I mean, technically we're done, right? But we did quite a bit of Godot cleanup now at the end. So I want to give Unity a chance to get to the same level. So what will we do today? As promised yesterday, I did some work on the CI system, and we're gonna see here there are quite a few off-stream commits, and that's why I do that off-stream, right? Because it's quite a few iterations, usually one line changes. We're gonna go over them and to get builds. And then I also, if you look at, I found some assets from Fiiish v2, because technically, my bad, Fiiish RS was Fiiish v3, and this should be Fiiish v4, but we're not going to rename that. And in the assets is the loading screen. And let's use the loading screen at least, right? So we're going to add the loading screen. We're not going to add the other obstacles or decorations. We even have the overlays. We have some overlays that we used for screenshots, right? So narrow ones and very wide ones with some nice colors, which we probably could use for the Steam page, to be honest. I like that transition in the background there. And then some overlays we put in the corner, right? And then I even found the script that we used to take the screenshots, right? So we had the take screenshot. I'm not sure how. That was some Lua script that basically went over it and took all the screenshots, right? By adding the overlays in the right mode, requesting the screenshot, then stepping, blah. We're gonna do something like that to get fresh store screenshots every time. But for today, and we're probably gonna add the bubbles back into the game. I want to add the bubbles. They were in V2, but not in Rust. So technically they're out of scope for the 3.0 release. But I want to add the title screen. So that's today. So let's go real quick over. So let's go over GitHub, right? So lots of actions and a lot of failed ones here, right? A lot of failed ones here. That means I've been working on builds, and there was silly stuff like, I don't think I can even look at this file because it's old, right? So, because we changed it. There was typos in it, and we're going to go over that real quick. So, what did I do? Let's do this actually here, right? So, I moved a lot of the settings into an initial step where I just set the variables. Actually, let's do this. Let's do this here. All right, so off stream. So I added a new step that creates variables. like the project name and the commit hash and the commit date and the archive file and where on S3 the archive is and what the build type is and what the binary is and so on, right? And then I tested with that and actually replaced the hard-coded Linux with the build type. So for reusability, right? And commented out the rest just for iteration speed. And worked on this S3 release reference and created the summary. So let's close this. Actually, can we diff this with so there was a lot of, let's say there were a lot of changes, right? Like typos and parse names and so on. But in the end, we ended up with, for Linux, I ended up with this script, right? And you could see I had selected everything. So the changes were these variables. Then in every step, I actually used the set variables. So for example, this is build type. And actually there's a typo in there, I guess. Yeah, there's a typo in there. Oh, good catch. And then on the export, I used that also for the path name. Then I upload that artifact. I tar that folder and upload it to S3. Gonna look at that in a second. And then I create a file that basically says, hey, by the way, this is the last file in case we want to do a publish. And then create a summary, right? So if we look at the job output, for example, for Linux, and you see there's more here. I look at the last build Linux. I see this was a commit hash. It was built on this date. This is the file, archive file, build type, binary. And this is basically where the archive was uploaded. And if I do a quick, well, spoiler alarm, you see in this folder, and this is not public, this needs my key, I have 3 archives for today, which is nice. Probably wrong because of the .build type. And then I just copied that to macOS and Windows and changed I changed the build type. I changed the binary name. And actually, I built the macOS version on a Mac for notarization, Xcode, integration, and everything. And Windows is the same. I just changed the build type to Windows and the binary type to executable. And if you look at one of these jobs, for example, rechecks the result, and that's just defined in the folder on the export folder, right? So this includes the shell file, the pack file, and the binary. And I can do the same for macOS, where it looks slightly different. So we have the check result here. And again, it's just defined, right? So this is the export macOS, and it actually looks into the app file. So we have the app and the command, the contents, the binary here, and the pack file, and package info and icons and stuff. All of that done automatically by Godot. And then let's do the Windows version for completion. Completion would be a nice word. Completion. Right, and here we just have the executable, the PCK, and the console exit, which opens the console for debugging. Don't have a Windows system here. I don't have a Linux system here, but what we can do, right? We can copy down the macOS file, and this is probably, I have to tell it where I have. Oh, I need to do an S3 copy, right? Copy down the file. And this is where QA would download the asset, the files, and QA it and say, yep, upload this, right? So tar tzf Fiiish v3 macOS, and that put my zip files always have a folder in them, right? So I unzip this and then open this, and there's the app file. And let's actually double click the command, right? So we get the console, and it just works. And it just works, and it saved our. So everything just works, right? So, and we have the console here, which actually gives us. I think this will need some debugging. I'm not sure. Animated sprite, node not found relative to obstacles. So I think our obstacle scenes are somewhere wrong, but they work. And yeah, but we have a working binary, right? And I'm gonna actually delete this again, and also gonna delete the tar file, right? I want to check if I have that. You know, that typo here in the fixed version info is probably also in the macOS. Yep. And also in the window. If this was a real project, I would make sure I could share this and just have another job called this job with the parameter of the build type, but I couldn't be bothered. Sorry, I need to keep my energy levels up. So actually, it's nice to have one on-stream commit, right? Fix typo in build jobs for Godot. And this is almost it. Right, I told you I have the assets here. So let's actually, right, so I found the loading screen here. Which is 248 by 1536. And we also have the overlay, right? So maybe the title PNG, what's the info on this? I think we're going to go with this one here, even though I like the background here better, but we're going to go with this one here. So let's go back to loading screen and actually let's open Godot. Right, resources. Nope. That's the wrong folder. Textures, new folder, loading screen. I'm just going to copy this over here, right, into the project. And then I'm going to open this with GIMP, because I want it to be 1920 by 1080. Right, image, view, zoom, 50%. And then, so I want 1920. Oh. Can we center this? So this doesn't look perfect, but that's an artist job, right? I will probably make the fade even worse, so don't hate me, but what we can do, actually image, let's flatten this just to Oh, that's what I worried about, right? So why? So there's even color in the fade, right? So what I will do is I'm gonna do this, just eyeballing it, right? Just eyeballing it. Let's make this softer. Action, invert, and cut it, right? Maybe we add an alpha channel first. I am not an artist. And create a new layer, right? And make that layer background, put it in the actual background. And maybe now we do the cut. And then we had our nice color here, right? What was our color? We had it in the project settings. This color here, right? This 197E80. 197E80. So is it this color? It is this color. So we got a, excuse me. It's not perfect. It needs polishing. Maybe we just, I don't want to take out the tablet on stream, right? Because I'm not an artist. I just make dummy assets. So let's say this is a loading screen. So we say, we flatten this again. I'm not sure about this white border, right? So, oh, select all and fill that, right? That's still not good, but slightly better. You probably should have turned it around and had the foreground and the background and cut out of that so we can see through instead of overlaying it. But this is good enough for me. This is good enough for me for now, right? So we overwrite the loading screen. We don't want to save the XCF, and before we actually commit this, right? Let's compress this down because right now this is like 1.8 megabyte. I mean, it's not that bad. Let the compressor run real quick. I mean, we can already the size won't change, right? Come on. I mean, I was pretty aggressive, but I want to save some space. So let's see how much space we can save. It's counting down. Put on the fish music and do a fish dance. Yeah, you wish. You wish. It didn't really get smaller. It got smaller a little bit. I mean, the optimum would be my data work, anti-fish v3, Godot, textures, loading screens. We could just do a convert loading screen. GM convert. Why is the auto completion not working? Right, so the WebP version of this is like 149 kilobytes instead of 1.8 megabyte, which is quite a lot, but this finished now and oh, we saved. So I wonder, can we, yeah, it doesn't support the WebP, right? So can we use this? Can we use this? We can't, right? Sadly, we can't. So let's use this. And we don't scale it up. You only see it for like a fraction of a few frames, right? So, and this is, oh, this is a local version, right? So what I want to do now, and this is literally, I think this is the last thing on our list, right? Is this the last thing on our list? Yep. Oh. 29. Godot add splash screen. Loading image, right? Same. And no, this is not the end of the game. This is just the first version we're gonna put out there, and only for testers and fans and you, basically. So, and it's also, I want to end the experiment because my brain to two project styles is no, it's not helping. So this is this, right? So and boy, I need a vacation. Add splash screen to Godot. Right, so we add the splash screen, we add the loading screen, we actually, yeah, let's add all of these. Let's push this. And what I actually want to do, and what's a bit scary is, but what if I tag this as release candidate 2, right? Let's tag this as release candidate 2. Push the tags. All right, so this is RC2, this is RC2. Let's see what GitHub does with that information. Well, I think, yeah, we're triggering RC2 builds for WebGL, macOS, Linux, and Windows. And while those are building, right. And these are building. We do have an itch page for Fiiish, right? For the V3. It's early access, but we at least have a dummy page. And I want to add the build here, right? I want to add the build here, and we're probably gonna need Butler for this. So how do I upload a build? Upload files, right? So yeah, we should use Butler, but I don't want to do it now. So let's see, how is the WebGL build going? That build is done, so that means if I go here and reload, I have the new splash screen, which doesn't fill the full screen. This is a demo build, right? That is a demo build. We have music. We have sound. Yes, we do have sound. This is V301 RC2 Godot demo build. It's the web demo build, right? That's exactly what we want. So let's see how the other builds are doing. We have are they actually still running, or is it just fake news? So this is fake news, right? So the macOS build worked. So if I go back here and do the S3LS, right? Actually, I'm gonna copy the same file, right? Because I'm forgetting the copy here. tar tzf Fiiish v3 macOS, right? Open. What's broken with my autocompletion? I should be able to autocomplete on this, right? File does not exist. Oh. Okay, my bad. Maybe I should unpack instead of listing the contents, right? So we can open the app here now, which gives us the right screen. And is the version correct? The version is correct. So I would usually do a ton of QA here now, right? Do a ton of QA, but for now we just put it up like this. Like it is, right? We're gonna do this manually for this version. I am sorry. I'm sorry, right? So let's see, are the other builds done? The other builds are done too, so I'm gonna download, right? So I'm just gonna download all three of them. Oh, I can't do that. Okay, no wildcards allowed. So no, it's Windows. And I can't test that, which makes me a bit sad. And it's Linux, right? So I have 3 builds on my system now. The WebGL build works, and I just trust that Godot does the right thing. What is this here? Oh, that's what I just downloaded. So let's go back here, right? Let's do an upload. Fiiish v3. Where the hell did I? Oh, I'm in the loading screen folder. Yeah, that was not what I. Alright, so I want to upload the. Can I upload a zip file, or should it be a zip file? Let's try it like this, right? Okay. Obviously, I don't want to do this step manually, so do I have itch? I have the itch app installed here, right? So let's start this. Oh, all of these are executables, right? This is the one for Linux. This is the one for macOS, and this is the one for Windows. Let's put this on the other screen, right? I just saved this, so I wonder if the files are actually... The files are here, right? And you can buy it now. I set a slightly higher price not to confuse itch. I'm logging into itch on the other screen. Oh, it's downloading the old versions of the other games, which is nice, which I didn't want to do. So, can I buy my own game for a test, right? I want this game in my collection, so... Right, I have a fish collection here, so what happens if I buy now my own game? Okay, that is not what I wanted to see, but... Yeah, sure. That's why I don't do this stuff on stream, right? itch.io. Want to see my password? Yeah, good luck. Copied username. Can you please? The itch login doesn't allow pasting. I am not a robot. I am not a robot. Is this a bicycle? And now I have to type the password again. Really? That will make sure my password next time is simpler. Two-factor authentication. Please copy and paste the... Okay, I'm sorry about this. Please check your email. You just logged in 3 times, but... Login attempt from new device. And you can't paste that code either. Okay, we are logged in. We are logged in, right? I'm probably not gonna pay for my own game, so I wonder if I can generate a code. Distribute, download keys, create. I mean, if you're quick now, right? If you're quick now, so it's in my account now, so let's see. Collection, fish collection. Owned items. I own this item, right? So let's see if the install works. Let's see if the install works, right? 168 megabytes. That is a lot. Can you please install this? Install. Why does it... What's the... Okay. itch upload packages itch.io. It's not Unity, so maybe it doesn't support. It needs to be zipped. So maybe we should do a zip file. Okay, we're gonna go into Butler, but I want to do the manual step first, right? So we're gonna unpack Fiiish v3 macOS. This version, right? And then we're gonna zip -9-r. Oh, actually, we're gonna go into Fiiish macOS. Gonna need the 9r. Actually, Fiiish macOS 2024 1029.zip. Right? Maybe it was the directory structure that an error occurred. So, details for nerds. Queuing generated, upload is not WARF enabled, no receipt found, starting download to be installed, executable, determine, no mapping for OK, it can't do TGZ. It can't do TGZ, okay, fair enough. I should have read the documentations, right? So let's move this zip file one folder up, right? And we go here again. Go to edit game and say upload files and do the zip now for a change, right? And actually this file we delete. And we do delete. Deep. Maybe we just use zip instead of TGZ. Right, so we have the macOS build now, and that is actually the executable for macOS. Let's save this. So if I go to the page, right, it should realize I already own this. Yeah, I own this game, right? So I can download it here, or I can try again in my library. And let's try this install again. Maybe this is better this time. I don't know where that error dialog popped up and why. So doo-doop, 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 doo-doop. Come on. Oh, it's downloading. It's downloading. It's downloading at hyper speed. It's installing. And that solved the problem, right? Obviously, I want to automate this, but not. Oh, but now, right? But now. So how do we automate this, right? Do I have Butler installed, right? We have itch.io Butler. So is this the... Nope, this is not the itch.io Butler. Okay, so it's get started, right? Butler upload. Where do I get Butler? How do I install this best? Documentation, license. Can I just download a release, please? I don't want to start building Go code, so where do I install Butler? The human-friendly way. So let's try this one, right? May 2021. Really? Stable. Bleeding edge is from July. No, let's try the stable version, right? Let's, oh, I actually, somebody downloaded that already. Okay. Okay. Step one, right? I want to actually clean up this mess that I made in the loading screen folder, right? Ah, danger. Dangerous typo. All right, so do I have a tilde bin Butler? Yes, I do. I already have Butler installed, right? Okay, so what I should do is Butler login. Your credentials are valid, which is good. So I want to, let's make a tempter, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna download the macOS version, right? Into the temp folder, which I should ignore. We're gonna automate this. We will automate this, right? I'm gonna extract that. Right, then I go into this. And this is the folder we want to upload to Butler, right? And Butler actually is, the documentation is very friendly. So I have to log in, and then whoever decided on this font here should be installing Butler. I don't want to install Butler. I want to upload builds, right? So what I can do, I can push a directory as a user and a channel. So what we actually can do is, and sorry, we're going into CI, right? So, and my user is actually, my user is, where is my, this is my user, right? Can I please just copy this? So I push the game, right? And oh, here, right? This is the game. This is the game. We're just doing, we will automate this away in a minute, right? And we need the channel. And the channel is OSX, right? Let's call it OSX. Is it OSX Universal? Channel names, okay. The name of a channel has meaning. If it contains Mac or OS X, it will be tagged as Mac's as executable. So let's call it OS X, right? Let's actually call it OS X Universal because people expect it like that, right? So we push : channel. OS X Universal. Required argument target not provided. It didn't say we need a target. Oh, push directory. Okay, so we want to push this directory. Which is super slow for some reason. It's probably the Go network libraries. Whenever I use Go to upload stuff, it's slower than it should be. I don't know why, but no moaning and complaining about that today, right? Let's close this before X. So this is uploaded. And we actually can use this, right? /bin Butler. And it's uploaded. So if I go to back to the itch page now, too many pages here, right? So we have this macOS built here, version 1, right? I want to edit this page. Let's edit this page manually real quick and remove the manual build. So let's remove this build, right? And obviously I don't want to do these steps manually, right? So what we will do is, here's what we will do. We know the steps now, right? So GitHub workflows, push latest Godot macOS to itch.io, right? And we're going to steal from ourselves again. So we have our build macOS and we have our push latest, right? So I'm going to just... I guess I'm stealing everything until here. This is wrong, right? So we only allow manual runs of this for now, right? This is always a manual step for now. We could have workflow triggers. This just runs on Ubuntu latest because we don't really care, right? We don't even need to check out. We don't need to check out, right? We don't need to check out. We need to know the latest file here, right? This is important. And this is important. We don't need the commit hash. We don't need the commit date. We don't need the archive file. And latest file does need the build type, right? We need the build type. And we need the latest file here, right? So, project name, hard-coded, build type is macOS. From that, we create the latest file. And from latest file, we create S3 latest file, right? So, that's our variables. And then, gonna say name, download, latest from S3, right? That is, we run it bash job. And here again, I'm gonna copy real quick the access keys, right? Because I don't know them. This is the environment from this, and we want to download the latest file, right? So the latest file is actually a link to the actual file. So what I will do is avs s3 cp s3 latest file, right? So it's $env.s3 latest file, and we just download that to latest file, right? We could just do dot, but I want to make sure it's in the right file. So we output the contents of that, right? And here you see one problem. We download everything, we output that, and then actually I want to get the contents of that, right? Because this file contains actually the latest file name. So I'm going to do an s copy. This is not nice, right? So the latest file, just for reference, we just put latest content in there, and latest content was actually excluding, it's just, okay, it's excluding the bucket name, right? So we need to prefix this with this. I'm going to show you, right? So there's this file called latest macOS, right? We could have it. We could have a database or something. Let's just copy this down, right? And then in this file, there is the file name relative to the bucket. So I'm not sure I'm happy with this, but we could just say this, right? No. Let's just do this, and actually for latest file, we just use the, right? And then echo $LF is this file, right? And that's what we want to download. So we're gonna do what happens if we want to download this file, right? And then we want to, the thing is, then we want to unzip that file, but for that we just need the last part. So what we could do is we could do a cut delimiter is slash field is shall cut last part. Can we cut the I like that. I actually like that, right? We reverse it, we cut it, we take field 1 and we reverse it again. And that gives us the file name, which is, oh, heck, right? But, ooh. So what we want to do is an S3 copy here, right? Then we want to tart XCF of exactly that file, right? Which we just got, which gives us this, right? I am sorry that we have to hard code so much, but I don't want to make this overly complicated tonight, right? And for now, we just do a find here. Right, because this would be the next step with the Butler, but I want to see if we get this far. So again, We download the latest file, which we get from here, which is this folder. The bucket probably should be a variable. The project is this, and this is the latest file, right? Project build type. We download that, we get the output, use that to get the file, and also use that to get the file name of the TGZ. Is that just... Is that just file name of... What happens if we do a file name on this, right? We could just do a base name on that as well. Let's add a comment here that we might want to use base name here. So let's see if that works, right? Let's see if we get this far, if we get the correct download here, right? So I'm gonna stage this, right? Just this file, all the other stuff is temp, so I'm gonna ignore that. So start adding GitHub action to upload macOS build to itch.io for Godot, right? Let's commit this. Let's rebase this. Let's push this. We can test this locally, so we have to go the long route, but GitHub Actions, we have a push latest. I just want to see if we run this now, right? Do we get the correct file? Do we have all the permissions and paths, and is everything all right? So and I believe, to be honest, I'm not sure. Push to itch.io. We've done this before, right? So jobs, set up Butler is nice, right? Butler login. Oh, Butler login will be interesting. We generated a version, downloaded, copy the package from the archive, right? So we copied this thing, unpacked it, displayed it, and then pushed it to. I mean, fine with me. That version file we have to talk about at some point, but for now, let's just see what broke. Download cd, no such file or directory. Did I do the... Yeah, maybe it helps to actually unpack the TGZ, right? Maybe it helps to unpack the TGZ. And actually what I also want to do is install Butler to see if that still works, right? So we're just gonna steal this from our own project here. We had a setup Butler, right? But we're gonna... We will check this, right? Set up Butler marketplace link. Do we have a marketplace? Yes. Marketplace 150, right? 1520. Maybe what is the latest version? Maybe we just 1520 is fine, right? And then let's also try the next step, and that will probably not work instantly. So we have this, right? How do we log in? That needs a token, right? That will need a token, right? Where does the secret come from? Oh, we have an itch.io API key secret. Key. API keys. On your... So if you don't already have one. Okay, let's go black here, right? Because I'm not sure if it's gonna show you my old keys. No, but it's gonna show you. So I'm gonna press generate new key, right? I'm gonna copy that new key. Go to the repo secrets real quick, right? Sorry, and what was that thing named? It was called itch.io API key, right? So I'm sorry, and that's the part where you can't follow along. So I added it here, right? I went into the settings of the repository, went into secrets variables, actions, new key, added the key, and actually the key I generated on itch. And before I do something stupid here, I'm gonna close that itch page, right? Yeah, sorry about that, but no. So we have this, right? So the login should work. I mean, if we're already that far, right? Let's go all in. So we unpack, we display, and we push to itch, right? We push to itch, push to itch. The working directory is actually this, right? This we push. App matrix app package. What were we doing there? Probably I just used dot here, to be honest, right? Dot, and the channel is basically what we just created, right? Whereas the channel, oh, matrix channel is probably up here, and the channel is this, right? Is this? Yeah, we shouldn't hard code this, but this is Fiiish v3 OS X universal, right? And this user version we're gonna do sometime else. So what did we do? We download from S3. That was a step we just verified, right? We install Butler, we log into Butler, we push the version to itch. Shall we give this a shot? I mean, more work on macOS upload to itch.io for Godot, right? And it's just install, it's just this, and we actually unpack this thing into the build type folder, check what is there, and upload it here. User version will be interesting. I mean, we have the update version script, right? So we could probably just put our version in there. So the nice thing is, right, the build, we can do hundreds of builds and, oh, that was a failed one. And then we QA it and then we say, hey, yep, the last one. If somebody built the latest one while we were QAing, obviously that will fall apart. Let's actually close a few of these, right? Nice, this failed. What failed? The login to Butler. Looks like you're running Butler on a CI server. To pass credentials via the Butler API key environment variable. Did we do that in... I mean, it's pretty clear what's trying to tell us, right? We probably forgot to. So we're not using, we set up the key, right? But we're not using it because I'm not the sharpest tool in the chat. And come on. All right, the log into Butler. Wait. Oh, here, right? We have to map that into the environment. My bad. So let's, and that's before the jobs, right? We do it for all the jobs. So here we map the secret into the environment. And yes, somebody could print it here. I want to check that version file real quick, right? So that version file here, that version file is the version txt. The version txt, and that is in the uploaded file, right? So just want to check the format because we also did some. Okay, that is actually so we have a version txt somewhere here. Here, this script copies the app version in the version txt, right? And I just want to see the format. And that is just, oh god, the version of the cargo toml, right? So what an ugly hack, but that is basically just this, right? Let's actually do this, right? Because we have our update version info here. And that means we have the version here, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to echo the version into where do we put this? Where do we put this? I don't want to do a new build, so I'm going to ignore that for the moment. Right, so technically we should put it into this folder. Here we should put the version file into it after the build. So when we tar it, we have the version txt in there, right? So you don't have a version environment variable currently. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. We're good enough. We're good enough, right? So we're just going to push the oopsie here. Add itch.io API key to environment for GitHub action for Godot. I don't want to bore you to death today. CI work, always like this. Okay. Shall we try this again? Let's try this again. And actually the job is called build. Let's call this push, right? Can we use push here, or is push a keyword? And this is actually the build. We want the push, right? I wonder if you can have a name here. Log into Butler. We're pushing the version. Build is processing. Okay, we can just do user version this and use the environment. But if I go to this page now, and there was version 1 here before, right? I expect this to be version 2. And actually, if I go here, I get the update button, which says, say, we can go. What does 42% mean? I don't know, but this will update the version, right? And in this case, both versions are the same. So that was a bit silly. I'm going to push this out of the way, but the upload worked. So I will just copy that script for the other two, right? So I will just for now, just Windows and Linux, right? So I'm going to copy this to the Windows version, and the only difference should be Windows here. Have to check the channel name thing here again, right? Because there was some magic magic in the channel name Win or Windows. Okay, Windows, and I guess there's also Linux, right? So this is the only two places. Two places is one place too many, but this is Windows. And actually, let's copy this again, right? Put this here. We could probably do this all from one, right? And this is Linux Universal, which is currently not correct, but we're gonna fix this, and we're in early mode. So I'm gonna accept this, and we're gonna put the actually the to do, right? We're gonna add a later add version to Butler uploads for itch.io. Right, so add Windows and Linux upload jobs for Godot. I wonder if that push will make us fail. So Linux and Windows, and we're going to ignore the temp work we did here, right? So let's do a push, and we have this manual files here, right? The TGZ. So let's actually there was a third place. There was a third place, right? And that is Linux. And this is Windows. Fixed job names for Godot. I'm so religious about putting for Godot and for Unix, Unity in there to see later when we worked on what, right? Now let's reload this page and let's do a Linux run and let's do a Windows run. And let's hope I didn't mess that up. Oh, we still have the old version, right? And I can test this because I don't. I can test this, and don't you just love the text I wrote and the ugly preview, right? We'll do a devlog at the end. So let's see about our actions, right? Push latest Linux worked. So it pushed Linux Universal, and Windows also worked, and it pushed latest window. And let's see if it actually got the right files. This looks like an executable. This looks good. Actually, let's go back to Linux real quick. We have the x86-64, right? We're cheating here a little bit. But let's reload this. Wow. So if I edit the project page now, and actually this is the automatically uploaded one, right? This is the automatically uploaded one. This is the manually uploaded one, which we want to get rid of. And this is the manually uploaded Linux version, right? So let's save this. And if I look at the page now, so when we want to release a version, right? What do we do? What do we do? We tag the version. We tag the version. We check that the demo version is correct. I mean, do we want to upload the demo version to itch as well? That would mean we need to pack it. I don't want to release to the web as of yet, right? The demo version here is fine. So let's keep it like this. So we tag a version, and then when we're happy with the version, we just run these 3 jobs. We could potentially have a job that pushes them all. I mean, 66 workflow runs. So with that said and done, the update here worked, right? So if you have a Windows system and want a free key, ask me now. You'll get one instantly. Fine tuning, but we have a version of Fiiish Godot in the store. And I like this very much. I will test Windows and Linux offline. I mean, I don't have the boxes here. I have to ask friends. Okay, so it's actually, no, it's removing the old versions, right? So, okay. Oh, look, there was the old Fiiish version that it installed. And here's the app and here's the command, right? So if you want to run the command manually, you get the log file, which is nice for debugging. I wonder where it saves the user. Probably in the same location. So that's an interesting one, right? Because so this is the itch version, right? And if I die now, I have lots of distance here. I have a ton of distance here. Oh. What? One more thing, right? Okay, because I still have the cheats in there. I don't want the cheats in there and then somebody has a gazillion of coins, right? So, where did we put the cheats? Right, these are the cheats, so I'm just gonna comment them out, right? I'm sorry about this, but you're not getting the cheats for free. Money for nothing and the cheats for free, right? So here's the thing. I really want to have that version info, right? I really want to have that version info. And this is just the version info, right? So if we just use the Mac job as an example, right? So if we just have version, and then we put that into the environment, right? In the environment, and then we say after the export, before we upload the artifact, right? We're just gonna say echo $env.version into this folder, right? This folder version.txt. Right, so we have the version in there. We have the version in there. And then when we push the latest to Godot, we say actually the version file is it just version.txt? Is it just this? I'm going to do this blind. I'm going to do this blind, right? Disable cheats in Godot and add version info to package. Right? I hope we didn't mess this up. And I'm gonna run the macOS build manually now. It should give us an empty version info, which I don't know itch will like, but maybe we should have a hey, this is not a tagged version, don't upload this, right? Maybe we should have a if this version file is empty, then stop. So how do we do this? Right, what we can do is we can say version equals cat version.txt. And then if, bash error if variable is empty. How can we do this? Is there a smart way? We can do the -c, right? We can just do test this, right? So, okay, version equals empty, and then we do a test version, right? And that gives us a 0. And if test is something, then this gives us a 1, right? So we don't have to do any of this. We just do a test $. Right? Can we do it without the... Yes, we can. Right, so basically, oh. We want it the other way around, right? So we want echo error here, right? Oh, no. Oh, if it's unset, we want echo error. And if it's something, we don't want an error, right? So we do test. So if it is set, if it is unset, we abort, right? And don't even try to upload this in case we try to upload an old version. So let's see what breaks without that fix, right? So we have our macOS build. We have our macOS build, and that creates variables, right? And these variables, one of them is version down here. Version. So when we check the result, right? When we upload the artifact, we have a version.txt in here. And that should be empty, right? Because this was not based on a version. All right, so I want to add that version real quick to the build summary as well. So for the build macOS, we're just gonna say version. We just output it in the table, right? No magic here. And now if we try to, the thing is, if we try to upload that macOS build, right, it should fail because that version file is broken or empty. I'm not sure what it does on an empty version file, right? Downloading the latest. We have a version txt in there. Maybe we should have outputted the what did it do here to the version? Okay, it just used version 3. It just incremented, right? Which is probably not what we want. So I will stage these both, right? only upload packages with valid version to itch.io for Godot, right? And this is for macOS only, but that is this check, right? If the version is not set, refuse to break out. And this I just sneak in. This probably should be 2 commits, right? Let's see if I rerun this push job now, right? If I rerun this push job, it should say, yeah, nope. And probably we should do proper error handling and stuff, but this is getting far too far. All right, so yeah, it's not even trying this. Better error message. Maybe. But as I said before, this is not a... So we do the version, right? And sadly now we have to copy that to all builds. So we do the version here and we do it for Windows. And then we copy the output version. I think this right before upload inside the artifact actually is okay. And we do the same here, right? And then we also copy the summary line here, and same for Windows. '27. I hope I didn't make a typo earlier. Add version info to other platforms for Godot. All right, so create the version, echo the version, print the version, create the version, echo the version, print the version. Right, and I will actually, no, I will not tag the version. I'll copy the other thing as well, right? So the push latest, I'm just gonna add this here real quick. It's a simple cheaty guard, right? So maybe we do it slightly different. Maybe what if we had a check version, right? And that just runs this, and then we just did this. All right, so we at least see which step failed. That makes it clearer. And the same for the Linux version, right? Sadly, we have to copy. We decided to copy this, so let's remove this. And I messed up my clipboard, so let's put this here, right? And remove this here. Make missing version info check more explicit for Godot. I probably should have tested that with one platform, right? So we had this one that failed in this download latest, right? Which is kind of, why did the download fail? That's like, ooh. So let's run this again with the new check. With the new check. Right, the download is successful, well, will be successful anytime soon in the next 20 minutes. And the version check fails, right? Which makes it pretty clear to the user, hey, We don't have a version. What's going on here, right? So how do we get a version? Well, let's push RC3, right? And then push the tags, and that will trigger the builds. Right, so I'm just using the macOS build here as an example. Setting up the job, checking out, creating the variable. Can you stop scrolling, please? Creating the variables, right? We can't see it here, but it's doing it. Fixing the version info with a suffix for in-game, right? Installing Godot. Verifying the setup. Do I have to commit that folder? Do we have a .godot folder that we're kind of? Do I have to commit this? But so I think, right, we're running Godot here and we're doing an export, and it says maybe we need to open Godot and close Godot. But we had that all the time, right? So this is not new, but it still is a bit annoying. So let's see, we're packing it, we're uploading the artifact, right? And there is a version txt in the folder. So we're uploading that, and summary, we output the version as this, right? So if I go back and just, this job was done, right? So this is a version. So if I go to Actions now and just upload the latest macOS version, this should not fail on this build, right? Because the latest build was a tech build, so it has version info. Let's see how that goes. So we should see here, check version, right? Well, once it is downloaded, so either this check doesn't work or the file is actually empty. So I'm going to download this. No, I'm going to download this file manually and see what's broken to avoid us round trips. Right? So we want to download this, right? And probably this should have a commit hash in the file name or something. Guessing the bucket name here. No, knowing the bucket name and hoping I haven't forgotten it. So tar t xdf fish v3 macOS. So there is a version in there. So our version test doesn't work, right? Maybe we were too smart, right? So version equals this, right? Echo $version. We have this version, and then we say if dollar version, well, if -z dollar version, right? Then echo no version. Else echo version colon dollar version, right? Let's be very explicit. Okay, so if this file does not exist, right? We get no version. If we say touch fish version empty, right, and do a dash empty here, no version. And if we do the right thing here, right? Okay, so we're gonna maybe our test was trying to be too cute, right? So maybe we were trying to be too smart for ourselves. All right, so because we know we do have a version, right? The final stretch, fix version check for Godot. You can see that my commit messages are getting sloppy. All right, so let's rerun this job and see what happens. I guess the other jobs have finished by now, so we have builds for Linux and Windows and macOS, right? With the version number in it, I hope. So let's check. Oh, this push now works, right? And it said, hey, check version set. We have this version, so I expect this here. If I load this now, this is better, right? This is better. So let's see. Let's actually push a Linux build and push a Windows build, right? You only set this up once and then you run the project for 3 years and never think about this again. So it's something you do every, I don't know, once in a while. I still think we might want to, I'm not super happy about this file name here, right? Because when we do 3 builds in one day, we overwrite maybe we only want 1 build per day. Maybe it's good to overwrite them. I'm not sure yet. Maybe we should use this as a folder name and then use the commit hash inside the file name or something like that. Push latest windows. What happened? Check version failed. Version txt, no such file or directory. Okay, when we tag the Windows version, right? No such file. Oh. Oh. My bad, right? So we should make the directory first and then write to it, right? Like we do in the Actually, this was a completely, we didn't want a tier, right? We wanted tier. And the Linux version does it, and we put it here accidentally for the Windows version. So let's check. The Linux build probably updated, right? The Linux build worked, so the Linux build did work, right? Check version. Push. Oh, okay. We're slowly iterating there, right? But we forgot to add the user version here. Right, we forgot this. And probably also in the Windows build. Yep. So more CI fixes for Godot. And that's not Godot's problem, right? That is my problem. Wait, what was the changes? Oh, okay, fair enough. All right, so we could just rerun these. So let's run. Actually, let's do a full run, right? So let's tag this with a force tag. We just retag it, right? And then I git push force tags. Right, so we basically move that tag up, which just happened. I should have shown you before. We moved that tag to the latest commit. Retagging versions always handle a bit careful, but that triggered a ton of builds, right? That triggered a ton of builds. We're almost done. This is once this page has all 3 builds, I consider Godot done. Unity, I'm not sure I'm going to go all the way till this point. The problem is building Unity. I tried. Building Unity builds on GitHub is a nightmare due to the license key. It's just you don't want to know. So the obvious solution would be to use Unity Cloud builds. But for that, I need a paid account. And since this is research only and I'm not using my work account for my research work, I can't do that. So I'm probably going to say, yeah, it will work, right? It will just work. So we're gonna kind of put an asterisk on that and not go through the pain. Maybe I will. Let's see about that. So build's still running and I'm blabbering on. Play the game. If you want keys, come here, ask me during the stream. I'll give away some free keys. Maybe I just put one on Twitter in a minute or so. I wish that was slightly faster. I mean, it's only running like a minute, right? Which is pretty fast. So macOS WebGL is done. So WebGL is done, right? So this should be in RC3 now. And the splash screen needs love, but we have so many features planned. This is just have one milestone, get the game out, right? So you don't sit on it forever and I'm like, oh, I'm too scared, more, and then you never release. You have to release your game. So this is V301 RC3, the demo build, right? So that worked. Linux build, macOS build worked. The Windows build failed. What failed here? Windows doesn't like me today, right? I did change that, right? I did. I'm not completely. I thought I did move this. Wasn't that in the last commit? Wasn't that in the last commit? I actually moved the make there. I am that stupid. I actually moved the make there down here, which will mean, so I wonder, right? If we actually did this, right? If we actually did this, if we would get rid of the errors, just open it once and close it again, right? I mean, probably opens the project in the current folder, right? We do have the headless in there. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this. Let's see if this helps, right? More CI fixes for Godot. I'm getting too lazy to write new. And that was just me being stupid, moving the wrong thing, right? Rebase. And we're gonna trigger this manually because we're not gonna upload this version anyway. So, again, let's trigger the Windows build. And this is not Windows' fault, right? This was purely my fault, but Windows was in the mix. And now I don't get it. Now I don't get a runner, right? Now I don't get a runner. Thank you, because I used up all my credits. But let's check the page actually. Oh, we didn't push the Linux version, right? So we could push the Linux version just, oh, this is running. So let's see. It should be cached, right? Oh, that's installing from the cache, which could be slower than actually installing. Let's play some Fiiish while we wait. Yes, and we need to do the balancing and stuff. I know. Is it done yet? It's still... Uh-oh. So that made it worse, right? So why did it make it worse? Make sure resources have been loaded, imported by opening the project in the editor at least once. But we did. Right? And then obviously it fails, right? So I want to name open project, right? Yes, we're a bit experimental here. So we just open it and say exit 0, right? And so we have two steps. We have two steps, right? We were missing the exit 0, and so all these errors were saying, yeah, something failed, right? So, but these are just the errors we saw anyway, and I expect them to go away after. I mean, it's telling us, hey, this file doesn't exist because you haven't opened the project, but we just opened the project, right? That is not what I want to hear. Headless quit, okay. Fixed in 4.1, I'm not sure. We could do quit after. Export release, so I'm not the only one. Assuming you use import. What? No, it's not fixed. Let's, okay. Okay. That sounds promising, right? So we have import, starts the editor, wait, okay, and then quits. That sounds better, right? So let's try this instead. Oh, headless is still true, right? Let's try this. I mean, what could go wrong? Try to start Godot in import mode on CI. And this has Godot in it, right? So I'm not gonna say for Godot. And we just did this for the Windows build. So let's just try the Windows build, which failed, right? With lots of errors, and we have tons of errors before. So let's run this again. And if that runs, we put it to the others, right? But that makes sense to me. It totally makes sense that the Godot folder, which has all the import cache data, is not there. And when you do an export, I mean, when I do an export, it should do an import first, right? Why do I have to tell it? So it's still a bit rough around the edges. But let's see. If this works, then I'm going to copy that to the other two scripts, tag the version, right? Tag the version. And we're finally happy. Happier. Come on. You don't even want to know how long this takes for a Unity build. Just to install it is like 15 minutes when I tried. So probably what you should do is have your own hosted runner, like a small EC2 instance. That already has Godot installed and Unity installed and your license key installed, and you don't. But I don't run like a build every 15 minutes, right? I run one build a day. So so this is probably the import, right? This is the import. Oh, and the export now doesn't throw any errors anymore, right? We still have a problem with our data. RC added, yeah, we know. Busy. Okay, so there's something wrong with our scenes, right? We will have to double check that, but not today. It's good enough. It is working, so I'm going to ignore that. We're saving the pack file, right? We upload the artifact. And I think that actually worked, right? And we don't have a version because it was not tagged, but I like this solution, right? So we're gonna add the open project for import. We do this, we do. Obviously my new line that I so carefully put into the clipboard was pasted in the wrong position, right? So we do this. I'm actually gonna copy this message because it's basically the same for the other two platforms, right? Oh, yeah. Commit this, rebase this, push this, retag the version, push the tags. And watch how they run. And watch how they run, and then this chapter is closed. That means one more week of Unity work on this, just for seeing how far we get, just for fairness, right? Then I'll do the conclusion of this experiment. I mean, it's 2 months. It was 27 streams, 3 hours each, about 90 hours. So that will probably take me a while, but while we do that, we'll either start a new game in the winner of this contest, I'm not sure, or we start a fish feature. I haven't decided yet. I will decide next week. That depends a bit on what happens in the rest of my life. So mean, this is still super fast, right? And we did a few hundred builds today, so 89 workflow runs. We're at 66 earlier, so plenty. And we probably shouldn't be reusing versions. We should not be reusing versions, so I mean, this one here, right? Nope, not this one here, right? So, failed loading resource, font data, parse error, referenced non-existing resource, right? So, I mean, scenes obstacles rock a TSCN, right? So, scenes obstacles rock a. That is working, right? There's a sprite. Oh, there is no node animated sprite, right? Oh. Oh, but that's fine, right? Because we have a null check here. So that's totally fine. Do we have a get node if exist? Fetches a node. Generates an error. Can we check if the node exists? Right. Oh, get node or null. Probably we should have a use get node or null, all right? To get rid of that error, but not today. Not today. So it only happens on non-animated scenes, right? I mean, seaweed A should work, right? So seaweed A, same script, should work. Question, did this didn't touch the file, right? Did it? Nope. So this should be or null, right? Not going to do that today because there's too much testing to do. So we're just going to do the export. And now the export is much, much cleaner, right? Far less errors. We still have this error because and the build is finished. So there's a version number. So I assume all the builds are finished. All the builds are finished. So we're just gonna go run Linux, right? You should do a test run here. You should definitely, if this was pushed out to 50,000 users, you want to QA this before you do this, right? Because otherwise you have 50,000 users creating bug reports for, yeah, we know we didn't even start this. Ideally, there should be a step when you do a build like a smoke test, an automated test that runs some scripts and verifies some certain behavior. But let's see. I mean, we know that macOS worked, right? We know that macOS worked. So let's see if Linux worked. Linux worked, and this pretends to have worked. So I expect, I have no way to verify this. Ta-da! And as a side effect, we have a new web build, and this was F4A, right? And I actually want to copy and enable copy and paste on that so people can search for bugs by this version. So it's F4 FE4A, right? And if I reload, it's gonna be, would be nice to have the version baked in here somewhere, like bake it into the image. And is now FFA6, right? So we have a new version, we uploaded the version, so that was pretty straightforward. We just uploaded the first public candidate for vSphere. Try it only if you really, really want to support us as it might still be seriously broken. Only verified on macOS for now. Have fun swimming. Bam. So do you love fish? I love fish. Have fun swimming. It's still in development, right? So please, no tons of bug reports. We know it's not done yet. But I think we achieved what we wanted to achieve today. I still want to add this or null, to be honest. We're not going to do it. We are not going to do it. So quick look at our to-do file. Yeah, so it's actually release needs to be underdone, right? Released v301-rc3. First release of the Godot version on itch.io. Right, and maybe we want to link to this. And maybe Markdown cheat sheet. I always forget how to do links. Link. Title, okay. Square title. Not sure how that will render. Not sure how that will render. I like it. And actually, we did this today, right? For Godot builds. Again, we might not do the Unity automation. We will see. We will see, right? And ideally, I want to do automated screenshots for every release we tag. We don't have scripting, so we can't do that, right? So scripting is some form of scripting. Doesn't have to be Lua or our own script. Just some form of scripting would be really nice. And I really want to know where that branch is, right? So update to do after stream. Play some fish. If you want a key, let me know. I can create some. So that worked. Not sure about the line breaks, right? But you can see, wow, we've been busy. Interesting rendering here of the, okay, it doesn't know what to do with the X, right? That's my private way of doing it. So quite a few commits. Quite a few commits over the last, can we pulse overview? 49 commits. 49 commits with a few thousand additions and some deletions, right? Wow. I mean, I'm the main contributor, I think, right? So we started in August and wow, 140 size. That's impressive. So, and then we went into speed mode 2 weeks ago, right? Traffic, yeah, we started slow and was just twice a week, and then we sped up the last week. I'm not sure what the blue line versus the, oh, uniques versus views. Okay, fair enough. I viewed that page a lot, I guess, because I looked at my workflows. Crunching data, so yeah, bit of deletion here at the end during the cleanup. There shouldn't be any dependencies. Oh, on the actions, yeah, definitely. So we burned quite a bit of minutes, but that was on our self-hosted runners, right? So I'm fine with that. It's the build Godot job that runs after push, right? Mostly Linux and macOS, and mostly on our self-hosted because it's faster. So we should really update the README. We should really update the README, link to the itch page, link to the Steam page. Steam page is still in the works, but I don't want to do an early alpha on Steam before the game has a bit more content and juiciness to it. So, wrong button. We are done with Fiiish Godot. We're not done with Fiiish. We're not done with Godot. We're not done with Fiiish Godot. What we're done with the Godot part for this experiment. So thanks for doing this with me. See you in a week, probably. Traveling arrangements and stuff. Stay safe. Have fun. Bye-bye.